today's video we are going to continue our last tutorial. That is, into the last tutorial we have completed the design of registration form and also a login form. That is, we have just created the design of registration and the login form, and also we have created the register servlet which accept the user details, that is username, email id, password, and it displays onto the browser. Now in the today's video I am going to show you how this data which we have accepted from the HTML, that is which we have accepted from the user into the database. So that data I am going to send it into the database, and in this case I am going to use the MySQL database as a database source. So without wasting a time, let's get started. So to before writing the code of that, let's comment it out. Here you can see that these are sentences which we have previously coded, and which only just print the details onto the web browser. But in this case now we don't want that. We want this data sent to the database, and then we will be validate by make use of login servlet from the database. So first of all, let we create the database or create the table in which there are the fields like username, email id, password 1 and password 2 to store the registered details of the user. So to do that, I have already installed the XAMPP server and MySQL. That is, I have installed the application XAMPP server for the MySQL database. So let's start that server and let's start creating the database. Now open the Chrome browser, and into the Chrome browser I am going to open the database editor, that is which is phpMyAdmin, and by make use of this editor we are going to create the database. So here you have to just click on the new, then type the database name. Suppose I give the name to database as database1 and click on create button, and into this database we have to create the table, user table, into which let's give the name to that table which having 5 columns. Click on go. So now into which the first field is user id, second which is the integer data type, and which is the primary key as you can see, and that user id is automatically incremented from the 1. That is, we don't have to require to enter the data, enter this user id manually. It will be automatically generated. For that you can see that I have tick mark that auto increment checkbox. So now our second field is username, and which is variable length character of the 50 size, then user email which is also variable length character, that is varchar 50. Second another one is user password, that is password 1, that is I am going to say it as user pass 1, which is same here as you can see varchar 50, and also user pass 2, and which is also same. So I have created the fields like username, user email, user password 1 and user password 2. So let I save the database. As you can see, when I click on save, our database table is going to be created. As you can see, into the database 1, that is into the database 1, there is the table with the name users, and that are the fields: user id, username, user email, password 1 and password 2. So into that table we are going to insert the data from the registration servlet. Now let's go to the Eclipse IDE and let's create that servlet. That is we have already created. Let's create the code which takes that data to the database. First of all, this code must be enclosed into the try catch block. As you can see, there should be exception can be caught by connecting to the database, or class not found exception, etc. exception can be occurs. So I'm going to add the try catch block here, and into that I have going to register the, first of all I'm going to register the database, that is database class driver name I'm going to register. So which is going to register by class dot for name method, and into that you have to write the driver name, that is which in this is different in the different type of database. For the MySQL is com.mysql.jdbc.driver. Now let us create the connection variable, that is let us connect our application to the MySQL database by making use of connection object. Let us create the object of that connection con equal to driver manager dot get connection is the method to use connect the database to use. Okay, and that method having the 3 parameter, that is the very first parameter is the database URL, second parameter is database username, and another next parameter is database password. So I am going to write that jdbc colon mysql colon / localhost, that is host name / our database name. I'm giving the database name as database 1, and let us in this case my username is root and password is nothing in my case, to the you can say that MySQL database, that is okay. So now we have created the connection string. So now let us create the query, that is going to use to insert the data into the database. Let us create that, let us create the string query, which is, you can see that we have to insert the record into the users table. So let us write like that: insert into database name, username insert, that is table name, this is in this case insert into table name. A table name is users, and values are, in this case I am going to add the placeholders, that is placeholders with a symbol question mark instead of the values, and then we will be replace that placeholders with the proper method. I will be explaining you further. Let us write here, you can see that. So first of all, insert into users, and we have to you can see that we have to insert the only username, user email, user password 1 and password 2. We don't require to insert the user ID as it is automatically incremented. So I am going to add it I am going to specify here what we are going to add: user email, user pass 1 and user pass 2, and values, you can see that I have taken the 4 placeholders here. So now create the statement, that is, let us prepare the statement to execute the query. Prepare statement ps equal to connection dot prepare statement, and into the parameter of that prepare statement you have to write the query which you have created. So now this is the time to replaces the placeholder values. So by make use of that prepare statement object. So ps dot set string. Why I am going to write like set string? This is because the first value which we are going to insert is into the string format, that is it is the username. So I am going to use the set string method to replace that placeholder value. So in the same way we are going to do it for all. So set string method, and in which position? The first position. And what the value we are going to insert in place of it each is username, that is we have created the user variable. As you can see here we have created the user variable, and that we are going to store into the database. So I am going to write here that variable name, and into the similar way you can do it for the remaining you can see that 4 values, which is also email id, which is also string, password 1 and password 2 also into the string format. So let us write that use email, variable name is you can see that email. Then here you have to write the variable name or the value which you have to set in place of that you can say that placeholders which you have added into the query string, password 1 and similarly password 2. So we have successfully placed the placeholders. Instead of that placeholder we have successfully set the values to that placeholders. Now you just have to execute that code by just make use of this code, ps dot execute update. Execute as you can see here it is execute. Now if the all code is right, that is you can see that we have created the complete code to insert the data. So if the all code is okay, then it will be data will be inserted into the database. So to know that whether the data is inserted or not, let us write some code like that, out.println data is inserted successfully So first of all now let us try to run our servlet and let us see our code is correct or not, or the data is going to stored or not. Let us save it. So let us try to run our registration page. Right click on it, click on run as, run on the server. Select the Apache Tomcat server. Within some time the database the page will be appear, that is registration page. As you can see registration page is. So now let us try to insert the data into that page. Let us try to add some data. If our all code is okay, then this data we have entered that going to be inserted into the database. So let us click on that register button. So when I do that, nothing happen. Let us see into the Eclipse IDE. So let us check the output. So we have run the program, but there is nothing into the web page. This page you can see that. So let us see. This is because of I have understood that this is because of we haven't added the MySQL connector to our application yet. We have to add the MySQL connector to our project class path. That is how to add that. Let me show you. So first of all, let me show you where to from where in download it. So you have to just go to Google, and you have to just type the MySQL connector for the Java, and the first link, that is, you can see that click on that link, and the web page appears. So here you can see that just here you have to select platform independent, and you have to download this zip archive file. As you can see, this is MySQL connector Java 8.0.26.zip file. That file you have to download. Just click on that download button. As I have already downloaded, so I am not going to download it again. So let me show you that zip file, and let me extract it and find out the MySQL connector from that. So here it is, that zip file. Just you have to extract it. Let us suppose I am going to extract this, and here you can see that into that file you can see this is the MySQL connector file that you have to add to the class path. So here you can see that where to add this, you have to add that file. Just right click on your project, click on build path, click on configure build path, and here you have to add, that is, click on that class path section, into the libraries tab, click on that class path, and here you have to click on that add external jars, and then you can add the MySQL connector to that. I have, as you can see, I have already added MySQL connector. You can see that. So I think now our program will work properly. Let us see the output of our program. Let us run it again. So let I run it from the start, that is from the register.jsp page. Click on run on the server. When I do that, you can see that Tomcat server is selected. Yes, I want to restart the server. Click on OK, and the Chrome browser will open with the registration form. So as the Tomcat server is restarted, I think our program is going to completely run. That is, you can see that. Let us see, the Chrome browser will open. As we have modified the code, or added the MySQL connector, so it takes a little bit time to load. Let us see. So here you can see that the registration form is appear. Let us add some data to it, and okay, so now let us add same data, and let us add a password like, and confirm password. Same password you have to write here. Click on register. As you can see, yes guys, this is our program is successfully run. That is, we have successfully added the data into our database. So to know that our data is going to be inserted, let us see our MySQL database. So this is our table, that is users table. Let us click on that, and as you can see, yes, you can see that our username, which is admin, and user email admin@gmail.com, and our password is going to be inserted successfully. So in this way we have completed our registration servlet with the database connectivity. So now I am going to validate this data which we have inserted into our servlet by making use of login page, that is login.jsp. So I am going to create the behind code of that login page. So let's get started. For that, open the Eclipse IDE and let me open the, you can see that login.jsp page. It is the login.jsp page, as you can see, and into that you have to register, that is you have to add the login as a URL, that is you can see that it is a URL pattern into the web.xml file. I have said that like registration servlet. So let us write action as a login and method is post, as you all know. Let us save this file and let us go to our Java code, that is into the com.servlet package. Let us create the new class for our login servlet. Give the name as login servlet, and as you can see, let's click on finish. We have created the class login servlet, and as you all know, login servlet extends HTTP servlet, and it is having the method. You can see that public void do post method, as we are using the post method to accept the data from the HTML file, and that do post method, as you all know, takes the two parameters: HTTP servlet request object and HTTP servlet response object, and HTTP servlet response object. And you can see that in the similar way, as like we have accepted the we have created the variables for the user email password 1 and password 2. In this case we also created the variables, but in this case we are going to create only two variables, that is email and the password. So let us create that. Let us create before the this you can see that this method, before this method let us create that. So before this method, let us add string email comma password, and we have to accept this from our login page, that is login.jsp page. So let us take it from registration servlet itself, that is email equal to request.get parameter, and here in the login.jsp you can say that the input, yes, it is a uemail, input name attribute is uemail, and so here also uemail, and we are going to accept the password also. So let us take that also. Password variable, and you can see that its name also is pass1. No, its name is password. No, pass1 it is. Okay, now let us write the content type, that is response dot set content type, which is text slash HTML. So as you can see, as we have accepted the email and password, let us now our code is let us create the print writer object to print the things into the web browser. Print writer out equal to response dot get writer method, and this throws an exception, which is IO exception, as you can see. And yes, now it's time to code our database code. Let us enclose it into the try catch block, as you can see, try catch, and into that you have to write exception. We have to code the exception if any is there, and we want to print it onto the browser also, that is so that we can understand so what type of exception occurs. out.println e. So now into the try block, as this code is same a connection code, we have to first of all create the connection, as you can see. So let us class dot for name method and connection string also same in this case. Let us copy and paste here, as you can see. So I have just loading the driver and the connection URL I have written. So now I have to create the statement object by, and I'm going to create it by create statement method. Now let us create the query string query equal to, let us write select star from users name table where user email equal to, which is, you can see that, which we have accepted from our you can see that login form. We have to match the content of our database email id into the email id and the password into database, and whatever which we have accepted. As you can see, we have accepted the email and password from the user, and also, and we have to check that content with our database content. So there, as you can see, I have selected the query select star from user where user email equal to this one, and let us write and user pass1 equal to password. So here you can see that this is the query to fetch out the values from the database which matches the email id and password entered by the that is users. So now let us create result set object and let us execute it by make use of statement dot execute query, and up to parameter to that execute query method is our query string which we have previously written. So now if the let us check if we got the same value from the database or not. To check it, let us use the method like rs.next, that is next method is that result set object dot next, that is we are going to check if that result going to find out that is we find that same result as we have expected from our that is, you can see that by the query. So and click on else if rs.next, that is if we got that result, that is whatever we have created the query string, as you can see, if you got that result, then and only we have to, first of all, let me write it onto the you can see that onto the browser that login successfully, and if we don't got that result, that is if what we are expected, then let us write it here login fail. So let us check run it. Let us check this code is running or not. So before running it, we let us register our servlet, that is we have to register into the web.xml file. As you can see, go to that file and let us create the same passage as our previously we have created for the registration servlet, that is and let us name it as login. As you can see, I have given the servlet name as login, and the servlet class is a login servlet class, that is com.servlet.login. Servlet is the class which we have registered the servlet, which we have created the servlet. So in this way, now I have registered our servlet to our deployment descriptors. Now let me try to run our program. Let us see what happens. Let's open the login.jsp page and right click and click on run as run on the server. As we have to restart the server also. So let us see the login page is open or not. Let us see. Yes, restart the server. So here you can see that Chrome browser will open and our login page will open, and then we will be try to run our login servlet as we have just registered it, and let us see it works or not. If it works, so it will be fine. If there is error, then we will solve it and then we will be proceed. So yes, our Tomcat server is started. Yes, Chrome browser will open. As you can see, registration, login form is going to open here. Let us add the details, login details, and let us click on the login button. So this was my mistake. Here you have to write the login. Let's click on that. So here you can see that yes, our servlet works properly. Here the message is login successful. So that's it all about this our login and registration module. In this way we have concluded our login and the registration module. So let us into the next video, let we modify this our module. Let us suppose by adding the forget password link, or let us modify it, let us add the more validation to it into the next video. So till there, do subscribe to Code with Wiki channel, and please like and share this video also if you like this, and thank you so much.